Hello, welcome to Astronautics for Exploit. I am Dr. Ayanshola Ogundele and I will be presenting Future of Space Exploration. The overview of my presentation is as follows. Crude space exploration missions, uncrewed space exploration missions, private sector involvement, and space exploration limiting factors. Mars has been flown by, orbited, smacked into, radar examined, and rocketed onto, as well as bounced upon, rode over, surveyed, drilled into, baked, and even blasted. Still to come, Mars being stepped on. The Earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind cannot stay in the cradle forever. Presently, a lot of efforts are directed towards expanding humanity's presence in space, continuous space exploration, and provision of space infrastructure in Earth orbit. In preparation for the future of space exploration, both government and private companies are planning and investing into the telescopic and physical exploration of space through robotic spacecraft and human spaceflight. In contrast to the motivation for the space exploration endeavor that occurred in the 20th century, presently the enormous interest and investment in space exploration activities by both government and private companies are necessitated by the motivation to protect the Earth and human life from catastrophic events and mining of space resources. Private space companies are shaping the future of space exploration. They are putting in their own resources and time to aid continuous exploration of space. They engage in developing disruptive technologies, which in turn is helping to improve human living conditions in space. The present and future space exploration activities rest upon collaboration, innovation, and investment. For example, Blue Origin, through the design and development of its orbital reef commercial space station, is aiming to provide a collaborative space through partnership to conduct research in orbit, develop products, and allow tourists the opportunity to experience microgravity. NanoRack Starlab space station, being planned to be launched in 2027, is proposed for scientific research. And also, Northrop Grumman's free flyer commercial destination is designed to provide a base model for the capability of including science, tourism, industrial experimentation, and building of infrastructure. There are future plans for Crude and uncrewed missions, planetary exploration using robotic probes, asteroids exploration, moon colonization, and Mars missions. Crude space exploration missions. This is divided into crude spaceflight, past, present, and future orbital crude spaceflight, past, present, and future suborbital crude spacecraft, and past, present, and future crewed missions. In preparation for the future of space exploration, both government and private companies are planning and investing into space exploration activities through robotic spacecraft and human spaceflight. This picture shows artist's concept of a crew member performing a spacewalk outside of a Crew Dragon spacecraft. Near-term physical exploration strategies. Near-term physical exploration missions are based on getting new information about the solar system. Plans are in place for the crewed orbital and landing missions to the Moon and Mars to establish scientific outposts that will later enable permanent and self-sufficient settlements. This picture shows Orion spaceship for humans designed to visit destinations such as the Moon and Mars. Crude spaceflight, which is also referred to as human spaceflight, is a spaceflight with crew or passengers aboard a spacecraft. The spacecraft for human spacecraft is operated by the onboard human crew or remotely operated from ground stations on Earth, or autonomously without any direct human involvement. This picture shows a crew mission where astronauts are outside the International Space Station performing spacewalk. Human life support. Crew spacecraft are designed to support human life for the human spaceflight mission. Spacecraft for human spaceflight must have a human certification which certifies that it is in good condition. Crew spacecraft requirements. Crew spacecraft must have a breathable atmosphere, pressurized, and be temperature regulated. Examples of crew spacecraft are space capsules, space planes, and space stations. This picture shows artist's illustration of a Starship vehicle separating from a Super Heavy booster. There are various past and present crewed space exploration missions. And past orbital crew spacecraft, some of them are the Vostok, which was a single-person orbital spacecraft. Vostok 1 carried cosmonaut Gagarin into space on 12 April 1961. Mercury, a single-person orbital spacecraft. Mercury Reston 3 carried Alan Shepard into space on a suborbital flight on 5th May 1961. Gemini, two-person orbital spacecraft. On 3rd June 1965, Gemini 4 took Ed White to space, where he performed spacewalk. Apollo spacecraft, three-person lunar spacecraft. In December 1968, Apollo 8 was the first crew spacecraft to orbit the Moon. On 21st July 1969, Neil Armstrong, the commander of Apollo 11, and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on the Moon. Space Shuttle, 8-person orbital spacecraft, was the first orbit-capable spaceplane and first reusable orbital spacecraft. These pictures show various past orbital crew spacecraft: Vostok spacecraft, Mercury spacecraft, Gemini spacecraft, Apollo spacecraft, and Space Shuttle spacecraft. Present and future orbital crew spacecraft. Some of them are Soyuz, 3-person orbital spacecraft, which has launched a number of astronauts into space. The Zenzon, 3-person orbital spacecraft. On 15 October 2003, it carried taikonaut Yan Liwei into space. SpaceX Crew Dragon, 7-person Earth orbital spacecraft, designed by SpaceX to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. Crew Dragon is capable of operating beyond Earth orbit. The first crew flight, Crew Dragon Diamond 2, was launched on 30 May 2020 and returned to Earth on 2nd August 2020. Boeing Starliner is a 7-person orbital spacecraft designed to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. SpaceX Starship, planned to be a fully reusable interplanetary spacecraft capable of carrying 100 passengers or cargo. It was primarily designed for Mars missions. NASA Orion, A spacecraft capable of lunar missions with a crew of 4 planned to be used as part of NASA's Artemis program. The spacecraft are designed to support crewed exploration beyond low Earth orbit. Gaganyaan is a 3-person Earth orbital spacecraft intended to be the first crewed spacecraft of the Indian Women Spaceflight program. Dream Chaser, 7-person orbital spaceplane, an uncrewed cargo fashion, is scheduled to fly in space in 2022, and the crew fashion is planned to follow by 2025. Hora is a 4-person lunar capable spacecraft to enable the retirement of Soyuz. These pictures show present and future orbital crew spacecraft, such as the Soyuz spacecraft, Shenzhou spacecraft, Crew Dragon spacecraft, and Boeing Starliner. Other examples are SpaceX Starship spacecraft, Orion spacecraft, Gaganyaan, and Dream Chaser. Past, present, and future suborbital crew spacecraft. A number of spacecraft are also designed for suborbital mission, such as space tourism mission. Examples are X-15, single-seat air-launched suborbital spaceplane, Spaceship One, single pilot, and 2 passengers, air-launched suborbital spaceplane, 3 flights above the command line, which occurred in 2004. Virgin Galactic Spaceship Two, 8-person air-launched suborbital spaceplane, operated by Virgin Galactic for space tourism market. 4 crewed flights above 80 kilometers occurred in July 2021. Blue Origin New Shepard, 6-person capsule mounted on a reusable vertical launch suborbital rocket aimed at space tourism market. Suborbital space yacht. It is under development by Selena and Tycho Brahe. Copenhagen Suborbitals aims to launch the first crewed amateur spacecraft into suborbital space. These pictures show past, present, and future suborbital crew spacecraft, such as the X-15 Spaceship One, Spaceship Two spaceplane, and New Shepard. Crewed space exploration missions. The past, present, and future crew missions. There are various missions that were crewed and also planned to be crewed. Some of them are Mercury Project, Vostok Program, Apollo Program, Space Shuttle Program, Soyuz Program, International Space Station, Artemis Program, Commercial Space Stations, SpaceX Starship Program, Commercial Crew Program, Hora Program, and New Shepard Program. This picture shows concept of the logistics module docked to gateway in lunar orbit. Past, present, and future crewed missions. Some of them are Mercury Project. The project goal was to put a human in orbit around the Earth. It ran from 1959 through 1963. Vostok Program. The program was aimed at putting a person into orbit. Apollo Program was undertaken between 1961 and 1975 with the goal of conducting crewed moon landing missions. Space Shuttle Program. Its missions involved carrying large payloads to various orbits, including segments to be added to the International Space Station. And Soyuz Program, a human spaceflight program originally designed for a moon landing. Other examples of crew missions are International Space Station. It's a space station in low Earth orbit. Its first component was launched into orbit in 1998. Artemis program is an ongoing crewed spaceflight program carried out by NASA. Commercial space stations, several commercial space stations are being planned and under development. Starship project is planned to be a fully reusable interplanetary spacecraft capable of carrying 100 passengers. Commercial Crew program is an economic stimulus program funds technology development. Other examples are Rover program. It's a new multitask spacecraft for low Earth orbit, International Space Station, and lunar missions. Titan program is under construction and it is a full-size multimodal space station. Kenyan program is underway to develop and launch a crew spacecraft. Spaceship One, Spaceship Two program. The objective of the project is to develop technology for low-cost routine access to space. New Shepard program is a reusable launch system capable of vertical takeoff and vertical landing. Suborbital crew spacecraft by Blue Origin. Uncrewed space exploration missions. Various missions are also uncrewed without human on board. We have the Moon missions, the Mars missions, asteroids, comet and small world missions, gas giants missions, and space telescope missions. Uncrewed spaceflight missions. Several uncrewed spaceflight missions have been launched into space for various purposes. Unmanned space missions, also known as uncrewed space missions, are missions that are remote controlled. Different types of uncrewed missions are Moon missions, Mars missions, asteroids missions, gas giants missions, and space telescope missions. This picture shows illustration of Mars 2020 rover drilling a rock sample on Mars. Examples of past, present, and future uncrewed Moon missions are Explorers program, which is known for discovering the Van Allen radiation belt, Lunar Orbital program. The Lunar Orbital program was a series of 5 uncrewed lunar orbital missions. Artemis program primary goal is to return humans to the Moon, specifically the lunar South Pole, by the year 2025. SLIM, Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, is a lunar lander being developed by the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. Chandrayaan-3 installed lunar space mission and is planned to have only a lander and a rover. Past, present, and future uncrewed Mars missions are Mars Global Surveyor. The Surveyor spacecraft used a series of high-resolution cameras to explore the surface of Mars, returning more than 240,000 images from September 1997 to November 2006. Mars Exploration Rover was a robotic space mission involving 2 rovers exploring the planet Mars. Mars 2020 is a Mars rover mission by NASA's Mars Exploration Program. Rosalind Franklin is a planned robotic Mars rover, part of the International ExoMars program. Mangalyaan-2, Mars Orbital Mission 2. Past, present, and future uncrewed asteroids, comets, and small world missions are as follows. Procyon, which was launched with Airbus 2. The Proximate Object Close Flyby with Optical Navigation mission was a 50-kilogram class microsatellite with 2 goals. testing a microsatellite bus system for deep space exploration and performing a close flyby observation within 50 kilometers of an asteroid. Lucy mission is designed to visit 7 Trojan asteroids between the year 2027 and 2033. Hayabusa 2 is Japan's mission to Ryugu and other asteroids. Comet Interceptor. Its goal is to fly past a pristine comet, and it will be launched to L2 and wait for a target to be discovered. Psyche mission is an Nibiru mission that will explore the origin of planetary cores by studying the metallic asteroid system Psyche. Past, present, and future uncrewed gas giants missions. Some of them are the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, codenamed JUICE, is an interplanetary spacecraft in development. Europa Clipper is an interplanetary mission in development, comprising of an orbiter. Breakthrough Euclideus is an astrobiology space probe mission concept to explore the possibility of life on Saturn's moon, Enceladus. Past, present, and future uncrewed space telescope missions. Some of them are as follows. Einstein Observatory was the first fully imaging X-ray telescope put into space. Einstein discovered approximately 5,000 sources of X-ray emission during its operation and was the first X-ray experiment able to resolve an image of the observed sources. Planetary Transit and Oscillations of Stars is a space telescope under development and for launch in the year 2026. Chandra X-ray Observatory. The data gathered by Chandra has greatly advanced the field of X-ray astronomy. Hubble Space Telescope is a space telescope that was launched into low Earth orbit in 1990 and still remains in operation. James Webb Space Telescope is a space telescope designed primarily to conduct infrared astronomy. Private sector involvement in space exploration. Private space companies are shaping the future of space exploration. They are putting in their own resources and time to aid continuous exploration of space. They engage in developing disruptive technology, which in turn is helping to improve human living conditions in space. This picture shows Boeing Starliner designed for future commercial space taxi. Commercialization of space by the private sector is leading to the reduction in flight costs, developing new methods of sustaining human life in space, and provision of opportunities for tourists to experience low Earth orbit travel. This picture shows SpaceX Starship, designed to service the International Space Station with cargo resupply and to transport a lot more cargo in one go than the current Dragon capsules. The various examples of private space exploration companies are SpaceX, Blue Origin, Boeing, Redwire Space, Northrop Grumman, NanoRacks, Voyager Space, Lockheed Martin, Space Adventures, Virgin Galactic, and Zero to Infinity. This picture shows Blue Origin of Blue Reef Space Station. Space exploration limiting factors. There are some factors which serve as limitation to space exploration. Some of them are as follows. Technical limitations. The current status of space technology, such as propulsion systems, navigation, resources, and storage, present limitations to the development of human space exploration in the nearest future. Distances. The astronomical order of magnitude of the distance between the Earth and the nearest stars is a challenge for the current development of space exploration. This picture shows concept of future crews living and working on the moon. Another limiting factor is human limitation. The transitioning gravity magnitudes on the body is detrimental to orientation, coordination, and balance. Without constant gravity, bones suffer disuse osteoporosis, and their mineral density falls 12 times faster than the average elderly adults. Another limiting factor is resource and sustenance. Considering the future possibility of extended manned missions, food storage and resupply are also limitations. This picture shows an astronaut tethered to the International Space Station during a spacewalk on June 14, 2018. You've been watching and listening to Future of Space Exploration. Thank you.